Hello everyone, my name is Dan from Baltic and today we're going to talk about touch gestures and also touch events. The purpose of this video is to talk about the different touch gestures available when working with a touch device. We'll cover touch gestures, what they are, what they look like compared to a mouse click on a computer. Finally, we'll look at touch events which work hand in hand with touch gestures. So this video won't cover absolutely everything on this subject because it can be quite broad, but we will cover an overview of what you would need to know. So, without further ado, let's make a start on the presentation and let's make a start with touch gestures. So, a touch screen or gestures, they're very popular as it makes the user experience improved. It's a more simple way to initiate a command and they're becoming very essential to our everyday life, either on a mobile phone, a tablet, or even on a newer touchscreen laptop, of which you can now purchase. And there's two main ways to register a touch on the system. That is through a stylus and a finger. Newer technology can allow for a stylus. Previously, on a mobile device, for example, you would need a finger to complete the circuit in order for it to register the command. The touch gesture, how to mimic a mouse click, for example, because what we're going to be talking through on this video is how web applications and the use of JavaScript can be used for touch gestures. So basically, if someone is on a website, we want to make sure that if they're on a touch device, it mimics a mouse click. So on the next slide, we'll compare what a certain mouse movement would look like as a touch gesture. Touch gestures follow JavaScript, and it would be within JavaScript where you would initiate the touch. You can work with this in more detail with other languages. For example, if this was on an Android application, you would work with Java. My examples are focusing on web applications, therefore it has a stronger link to JavaScript. The example you can see on the screen is for JavaScript. Once the user has tapped or clicked on an image, an alert is displayed on the screen. So you can see here that we're working with functions, we're working with event listeners, and as soon as someone has tapped or clicked on that screen, an alert is then initiated on the screen for the user. The next slide is for touch gestures. So how can we mimic what we do with a mouse or what we do within our touch screen? So I'm now going to talk through a few of the commands for the touches and gestures. So try and picture this with your own mobile device. Try and simulate your mobile phone usage as using a mouse device. So for example, a tap and rotate could be completed by using a mouse. Think of Google Earth or 3D software, for example. You can track the touches on an application, and the touches can then be analysed for further research and to provide the best application for the user. You may find that if a user presses this certain action on their phone or touchscreen device, another operation is carried out. By tracking this, you can debug the software. So you'd need to diagnose the issue. It could be something as simple as the touch and input areas are too close together. The app isn't taking into account those with possibly bigger fingers, using the phone potentially. But there's different gestures that we can do. We can have a tap, a double tap, two finger tap, press tap, and press and hold. And as you can see, the mouse equivalent. There's no mouse equivalent for the two finger tap, but the description is tap two fingers on the screen simultaneously. So I can guarantee that if you have a smartphone, if you work on a tablet, if you work on a touchscreen device, you will use every single one of these gestures in some way or another. There are also a few more touch gestures, so feel free to pause the screen and pause the video if you are wanting to test them out a bit more and have a bit more time with them. But we have the selection and drag, panning, flick, rotate, and also zoom as well. So again, you will have done this all the time on your device. Other things that you can do in regards to touch gestures, these are the main ones that you would look at. So you're mainly going to be using tap, double tap, flick, drag in selection, and things like that. They're going to be very popular on the devices that you use. For future development on this section, you can search touch gestures in your browser of choice, and Microsoft offers a great information on this topic. It is in the preparation for the HTML5 MTA examination, where it looks into JavaScript touch events and also touch gestures, but it will provide a lot of information on this section, a bit more in depth of what we've covered today on today's video. As this is a short video of only around about 10-15 minutes long, we can only cover an overview of what it is. So we've covered touch gestures, covered what they are. It's basically mimicking a mouse click on a website, and it takes into account the touch screens of a website, the touch screen on a mobile device, the touch screen on a tablet. The next thing that we're going to be looking at are touch events, and they work very much hand in hand. So the four main touch events that you can get are touch start, touch end, touch move and touch cancel. So touch gestures will initiate change in the back end of the system. These changes are known as touch events. This is when the system knows when to perform a certain action or not to perform a certain action. So for example, if you were powering up a kick in a football game, once the finger is taken off, touch end is initiated and the power is selected. So if we have a look at touch start, you've placed your finger on the device. When we have a look at touch end, the finger has been removed from the device. Touch move, user has moved their finger, possibly a scroll in this action. And then finally touch cancel. There are too many fingers on the screen, you can't compute the decision, it's aborted the action. So those are the four main touch events, and they will always have a touch list as well. So as soon as someone touches on a device, a list is recorded. So a touch is recorded within the list, and the list is then recorded in itself for analysis and for debugging. One touch point is a single entry. So if I had 3 fingers on a device, that would initiate 3 touch points, 3 touch events that has happened. So that is everything that we're going to be covering within this short video of touch events and touch gestures. It's basically to cover what a mimic would look like in regards to a mouse click to a touch, and also what goes on in the background, i.e. it works very heavily with JavaScript, and we also have touch start, touch end, touch move, touch cancel in the touch events in the back end of things. That would have a look at the analysis and the debugging of an application. So that gets us at the end of this video. My name's Dan and you've been watching the video covering touch gestures and events. Thank you very much for watching and take care.